this way so you're not
falling off
in that window.
the edge.
Yeah.
The edge.
You probably should scoot over a little bit
I
more.
have that light on. I have it open because of my plant.
Mm-hmm.
My plant likes to get the
So you just
sun every day.
You just got notified that we're live.
I did.
Yeah.
And I have this here so that I can read questions.
Red itchy mosquito bites.
Whoa.
Red
Genius college student
itchy mosquito bites. College students.
How do you turn the light?
How do you operate an iPhone? I've only had one for 15 years. How do you turn it off?
I did.
How do you mute my iPhone?
I did. Maybe yours
So,
is muted. I don't know.
So you have the feed. So this is your opportunity to ask questions. We haven't been on for quite a while. JB says, how's it going? We've got Tyler Woods. Hey, guys. So it's been quite a while because we're so dang busy.
Well, we just have had a lot of changes, and like everybody else, you have to adapt to changes.
And we're busy working. So somebody
Which is
asked,
a good thing.
Somebody asked me today if I just paint for pics.
No.
And I wish, and asked me if I work 40 plus or if I just don't even work anymore. And he said, if you work, why the heck would you work? So I work probably 60 plus hours a week. And he asked, why would I work?
Because you
to take care of my family. I got a family to take care of.
You do.
So I do work. So
Yes.
that answers his question. I don't even remember what his name was, but we're going to answer your questions right here live. We got Michael hanging out with us today. I started my company. I have you can read that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff jumping on.
Repaint job, no sanding, just a fresh coat of paint. How much should I charge per wall? That's a really...
On interior?
Yeah, that's hard to answer because it depends on where you live. It depends on your cost of labor. In Boise, there's a shortage of workers, so people are paying a lot of money to have a painter.
I mean, to me, the bidding is not very difficult. I've made videos so far on bidding fences, cabinets, epoxy floors, exteriors. So I've done these videos in depth of how I actually bid. And if you follow that, you would get the exact same number that I get. I disclosed it all. The one I have not done yet is interior painting, because interior painting is more difficult to bid than all the other items. You can literally bid everything else by not even being there in person. And interior bidding, more often than not, you actually need to be out at the job site and see the job and really walk it to get a feel for what it looks like. I mean, I've done a lot of interior bids without being out at the job, but it's a little bit more difficult. And bidding does, to a certain extent, you have to take in consideration where you live. Now, if I charge $1.95 a square foot for an exterior here in Boise, Idaho, I hope you're not charging that much in California because you're probably underselling yourself. So,
And that would even be here because things change.
Things change.
A lot. People are between 3 and 5, I think, in Boise.
Yeah, and so in the last year and a half, the square foot price is probably doubled here in Boise, Idaho. Mm-hmm. So if you're watching my video, I just did a video not too long ago doing bids. The prices have literally doubled, and they may go down. I mean, some of it is related to a lot of different things. But right now, there was a guy that came in today into our store, and he was asking about product and where you get the paint and stuff. He works for a local paint company here that has 30 employees here. And they have to go, I believe it was Oregon. They said they're going and getting their paint from a paint store in Oregon because Sherwin-Williams can't supply them paint anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely a different age, but we do have a couple giveaways, and we did want to let you know where you can find the Idaho painter because he is going to be out and about. We're leaving Boise next Tuesday. So a week from now, where will we be?
We're going to be in Las Vegas. So if you want to come hang out with us, we are going to be at AFS.
AWFS.
I missed the W.
Mm-hmm.
AWFS. So it's one of the largest woodworking shows in the world, I believe. I think the largest in the United States. So it's in Las Vegas. Next week, we're leaving. I'm going to be at the paint line booth, the paint line that sells all the spray and drying racks. We're going to be hanging out in their booth, and then at Unita's booth, who makes the Ecosand sanders.
So we're going to be in those two booths on Wednesday and Thursday, so the 21st and the 22nd. In the morning, we are going to be in the Unita booth. You're going to do some sanding demonstrations, and then in the afternoon, between 1 and 5, you'll be in the paint line booth. We have posted on Instagram if you are in the Vegas area and you want to come see the latest tools out there, and come by and see us. We're going to have some coupons for some free hats and some stickers and stuff.
If you want some free swag, we're going to be giving out some free swag. We're going to hook you up with a hat and some stuff. And so I think we're giving away a Nuita sander, a 3x4 sander.
I'm sure Paint Line's giving away some stuff
We're
also.
going to give away some stuff from Paint Line. So come hang out with us at the booth. It'll be fun. So
And Paint Line has made it so that there's a cost to getting into the show, but they have made a form that they've put on their Instagram. We've shared it on our Instagram where you fill it out and you can get free tickets to come to the show.
yeah, we can get you in for free. So we've got connections through Paint Line. So is there any question I can answer? We got to answer some questions.
Yeah, and then we have a second event in August that
We'll
we'll
talk
tell you
about that
about in a minute.
Let's answer some questions.
So
Give
we've
some
missed
shout-outs.
Robert Smith Painting.
Robert Smith Painting.
We've
We've
missed
got
him.
Sean Roberts, Majestic Colors also is
Juan
hanging out with us.
Robinson said, love your channel. My question is, what do you use for stucco cracks and for the facial glaze it?
So stucco cracks, I use an elastomeric caulking and I use a textured elastomeric caulking. And cracking, or not cracking, but caulking cracks and stuccos is kind of an art. It's kind of like doing touch-ups. If you don't do it right, the crack will look worse than it did before after you do the painting. So I use a sponge, a tile sponge, and I'm going to fill it with a textured caulk. And Tower makes a product, an elastomeric textured caulking, which is not going to leave it smooth. It's like sanded, and you're going to just run your bead along there, run your finger along, and then you're going to take a sponge and begin dabbing the crack with a wet tile sponge. And at Paint Life Supply Co., paintlifesupply.com, both those products are available. So you definitely want to use an elastomeric caulking and a high-end one that's going to bond really well, because stucco expands and contracts quite a bit, and it will separate if you don't caulk it properly. And you have to dab it with a sponge. We've got Ron Thrall hanging out, so Ron Thrall's on. I just saw his name pop up.
And Jake Starling's with us.
I haven't heard from Jake for a while. What's up, Jake Starling? Hopefully he's
Sean
doing
Roberts is here from New England.
well. Not sure Jake's got married at all yet.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us
So
know.
somebody wanted to know what's a good starter sprayer for a DIYer.
So like a DIYer, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, like those big box stores, they sell like really low end price point sprayers. You can literally buy an airless sprayer that will literally spray paint for $300-400, and it will spray paints, but it all depends on what your budget is and how often you're going to use a sprayer. Now, a starter sprayer, if you're a professional painter doing one house a week, one of those do-it-yourself sprayers isn't probably the most ideal sprayer for you. You're probably going to want something more in a professional line. And I've promoted just because I had good experiences with Titan, the Titan 440, for a lot of years. So I started my painting company with a Titan 440i. And they don't make the 440i anymore. They make the 440 Impact, and so, and I still have it to this day, and it still runs, and that's over 20 years ago. And you're talking right in that $950 range is what you're going to pay for it. So that's an entry level one. If you don't have $950 and you're in that $500, $300 to $500 range, Graco actually makes some pretty decent do-it-yourself sprayers that I think Home Depot sells Graco's line of do-it-yourself sprayers, but beware, they do say on the box that they say how many gallons they'll actually spray. They're rated, and some of them are rated for only 100 gallons, and it's probably not going to function anymore.
So somebody wanted Pro Painters TT from Trinidad, said how much jobs can a Greco 415 last? So a tip, how long does a tip last?
That's a good question. Tips don't, there was a gentleman in our store today, and he asked me, he said, how long will this, he was buying a tip, 619 HEA. He said, how long will this tip last? Well, it lasts about 800 gallons. And I had to start laughing because I was like, 800 gallons? I was like, and then I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news, because if you think it's going to last 800, when I tell you how much it literally is only going to last, then it's going to be a big shocker. About 60 to 80 gallons is what a tip actually will last. And I'll give you, I actually have the statistics, and there was a test run on 3 manufacturers of tips, and 2 of them we all know, Titan and Greco, and there was a big comparison done, and it was an independent study. And what was amazing with the tips, and just to give you, go to the end real quick, the Titan tips lasted longer than the Graco tips across the board, longer than Graco Rack X tips. But what was interesting about it was a Titan 515 tip, after 20 gallons, they ran it 20 gallons through it. Then they tested the orifice of the tip, and it was the size of a 517 after only 20 gallons of paint. So when you first start using a tip, it rapidly begins to wear the orifice size larger, and then it starts to slowly slow down. So it has this big curve where it starts to wear it out fast, but then it kind of tapers off and then really slows down. And it was around 60 to 80 gallons that the orifice size really began to, what happens with a tip, instead of shooting a nice flat pattern, it starts to round itself out and oval itself out. The more you use it, the more it begins to, like, instead of flatten out, begins to round out. It begins to not atomize the paint properly. You start to get large droplets of paint, different size droplets of paint, and so you start to get a lot of fallout and overspray. And if you're using a tip for more than 100 gallons, you're using it too long.
So we have some more questions, but real fast I want to let you know that Jake said he's not married yet, but probably should be.
Oh,
so
cool.
we're waiting to hear about that. But we wanted to let you know in August. So next week we're in Vegas. So if you want to come by and see Chris at AWFS, we told you Paint Line in Anita's booth on Wednesday and Thursday of next week. But also August, I have the flyer.
We are
August
AST. We're going to be there. So there's a lot of people asking us about when our next academies are going to be, and they're coming up. We're starting to get our schedule together. We're going to start to have our academies at our Paint Life Supply Co. store. They're coming, but Advanced Shop Talk is coming up, and that's in San Antonio, Texas, and we're actually going to that. I'm going to be attending the classes, so there's not a lot of training out there, but this is a good opportunity to get some training put on by the residential forum.
Well, and we were excited when we spoke to them, and so we said we wanted to be a part in some small level, and one level is we're gonna pay for the registration for one person.
Yeah, so one person, courtesy of Paint Life Supply Co. Us, we are gonna give somebody a free ticket to go. And so, and what's the value of that?
It's like $595.
Yeah, $595.
In San Antonio, Texas, August 12th and 13th. How do we give that away?
Well, you can go to our store, Paint Life Supply Co., and down on the bottom there's a little chat icon. It's how you chat with our store staff, and just tell them why you would like to go, and if with whoever comes up with a really good reason why they would like to go, we're going to select somebody to give a scholarship to go. And this is, once again, it's if you really value and you want education and training, painting and how to run a business, their forum, they have, if you go to the website, there's a bunch of speakers that actually start out like the conference, that they start speaking, and then you break up into these round table groups and have peer discussions with other painters out there. And so it's like a peer driven
educational
conference and educational. And I did that once about 5 years ago at a conference, and it was absolutely amazing. It was probably one of the best learning experiences I ever had, and being able to share ideas with other painters out there that are successful and stuff is really cool. Then you meet other people.
Well, and I think right now everybody has had to go through major changes and adjustments with everything that's been going on, and it's continuing. So to get together with other people that are in the same boat to really just encourage and support and share ideas that could possibly help you with your business.
Yep.
Really encourage people to go.
What's the date of that?
It is August 12th through 13th.
And so there's going to be one of the evenings, if you're there at the event, one of the evenings is going to be a meet and greet where we're going to hang out, have drinks with the people that show up. And if you want to come hang out with us, and once again, we're going to be giving out some hats and swag and stuff. So if you want, a Paint Life hat or some Paint Life gear, come to that forum and we will hook you up. So it's another place if you want to come hang out with us and actually meet us live and glean some information.
Yeah.
We're going to glean some from you, and you can glean some of us. Do you have another question to ask?
So I have
Answer?
Somebody I know, Aftonberry, saying, I hear the puppies are crying. So if you hear the puppies are crying, in our spare time, we're doggy daycare. So we should have had 4 dogs here, but we have another dog here, so we just have 1 dog.
Yeah, there's only 1 dog here, and it's a gigantic German Shepherd.
And he misses his mommy, and he's crying.
Yeah, his mommy's not here. She went out shopping for some furniture, and so we're taking care of him, and he's really sad.
Yes.
And his name is Bruce, and he is one big German Shepherd.
If you like German Shepherds, he's absolutely beautiful.
He's beautiful and he's scary. He's really scary. When he came in the house, Luke came running down the hallway into the office and closed the door. And Luke was terrified. He was, his knees were shaking. And so I said, it's just Bruce. But Bruce was barking, and he opened the door and Bruce started barking. Yeah. Not at him, he was barking at Lisa, because he wanted Lisa to come back.
Yeah.
His mommy, and Luke didn't know that, and it was kind of funny.
So Dennis Olinger says, nothing near professional, but your videos have helped me paint my house in a reasonable, good-looking fashion.
Cool.
So thank you, Dennis, for sharing. And then also L. Lawson said, I took a sample of my paint from my wall to Lowe's. When I applied the paint, it did not match. Can I take it back? They can make it darker.
So they can't make it lighter, but they can make it darker. So here, this is buyer beware. And once you walk out of the paint store with it, you've accepted the color. And unfortunately, you don't have the ability to put it on your wall and go, that's not close enough. But you have the ability to put it on the sample and look at it really close and say, that's not close enough. And I used to tint paint and mix paint for Home Depot for 2 years. So I have experience doing it, and I'll tell you, it's an art and it's a skill. And I'll tell you also, that's probably about 95% of the people mixing paints don't really have a whole lot of experience with color or even mixing paint, other than just putting the computer, they put it up against a computer eye, the computer eye reads the color, they just dispense the color, and it is what it is. Now, really good color tinting guys, and there was one, Steven from Sherwin-Williams, was amazing. They will take and begin, because that's really only a starting point. Now you got to begin adjusting the color from there by human eye to get it closer. And the computer's never going to get it to the point where you can actually touch up with it. That's impossible. And but don't walk out of the store, any paint store, until you're 100% satisfied. Now, if you want them to, after you've walked out, if you want them to readjust it, they can't really ever make it lighter. There's a lot of things you can start adjusting the color.
She said darker.
But if you complain enough with some of the companies like Home Depot and stuff, they'll give you your money back. But their policy is typically most paint stores are you bought it once you walked out.
Mm-hmm. So Jake Starling said, how is Journeyman John been doing? So I actually saw him a week ago. He was painting actually a friend's house, and it was great seeing him. He is very busy. Yeah, he has mini crews, and he is running around like everybody else, trying to make sure his guys have paint so they can keep painting. Because that's another new problem we've never thought of. You do your best to get the jobs, you do your best to get your employees, and then you don't have product to paint. It's a problem. So he's doing good.
Another question? We got Maddox YT hanging out. Jonathan Stevens says, hi, Chris. How you doing, Jonathan? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for being with us. We got Al Lucchini. What is the easiest way to repair cracks in ceilings? So cracks in ceilings are not easy to repair because there's typically always expansion and contraction, and depending, is the crack at a joint, a drywall joint? Is it right down the middle of the drywall somewhere? If it's in a joint, you should really cut it out and redo it. But there's a product from Abatron called, I think it's called Crack Fix or Crack Repair, and it actually is a really good product for fixing cracks in ceilings, and it's designed for that.
Do we carry that?
We do in our store.
Okay.
So it's specifically for
Excellent.
that. If you don't want, because if you just try to take spackle and spackle the crack and then paint over it, it will re-crack again. If you're really in a hurry and you're just trying to flip the house, you can caulk it, and caulking's more flexible than spackle, but that's not the right way to do it, and it'll still you'll still be able to see it, but that crack fix from Abatron is actually pretty amazing. And we're gonna give away some stuff.
So we do need to give away a few things. So remember, if you're with us and you would like to go to this, we are going to give away one person access there, but they have to let us know. And how do they do that?
You got to go to our store, Paint Life Supply Co. It's paintlifesupply.com. Go down to the right hand corner, the chat icon. Let us know why you'd like to go. It's in San Antonio, Texas, and we're going to be giving away a scholarship to go.
And I'm going to talk to them, and maybe we might be able to offer some discounts. So we'll see and let people know if that's the case.
You got some headphones to give away.
So what are these?
They're just like headphones, not like they're just wireless headphones.
ISO-tunes.
Like ISO-tunes. I hope to hook up to your phone, and they actually work pretty good. People just send me random stuff, these companies, and they send them to me, like 3 pairs of them, and they're OSHA approved, OSHA compliant.
How is that?
Hearing protector. So ISO-tunes. Lisa's gonna give them away. So you can pick somebody to give those away to. We have some other stuff. Did you bring the abrasives in here?
Oh,
Not yet.
what is this?
This is a screwdriver, and this is actually pretty dang cool. This company sent me these cordless little screwdrivers, and they're pretty dang cool. I actually like them. They sent me several of them. I tested one of them, really liked it, and here it is. It's a I guess Fantix drill. So we're gonna give that away. So somebody's gonna get that.
Yes, we have.
Cordless drill.
We have. Somebody wanted to know, will you come to Canada one of these days?
Yeah, I've been to Canada. I actually competed powerlifting. I was gonna say, but that's weightlifting.
24 years
Actually.
ago.
Was it 24 years ago?
Yep, because our daughter just turned 1 and she's 25 now.
I competed in the World Police and Fire Games there, and powerlifting. That's the bench press, squat, and deadlift, and that was in Calgary, Canada. And it was right where the Olympics were there at this in that same city at one point in time before that. So
here we go.
Here we go.
Justin Kirkley. I like headphones. I could use them when I'm up on the ladder while painting. Jake Starling is my boss. So guess what?
Whoa.
Justin.
You just got yourself a pair of headphones.
Kirkley, you just got your headphones, but how does he get them? Because we need his mailing address.
You got to go to Reamaze and
that's at our store.
Go to our store, paintlifesupply.com. Go down to the little Reamaze icon. That's how you chat with our store staff. Let us know what you want and your address and email, and we will get them sent to you.
We'll get them sent to you. So Justin Kirkley.
Jake knows how to get a hold of me.
Yeah. So thoughts on naming a business, or can you do a video on this top kick? I'm located in Oregon and just passed my contractor assess. Good for you.
That's actually a pretty good topic, and because the name of the business is actually really important. And here's like one of my big tips is my painting company that I owned, that John owns it now. It was B&K Painting. I just personally believe you want people to
know what you are?
Read the name of your company and know what you are. B&K Logistics wouldn't tell people what you are. B&K Services wouldn't tell people what you are. You want if you're a painter, you want painting to be in the name. So
Yes.
it's easily identifiable. That would be my very first tip. And then one of the other things is you want your logo to be something very identifiable with your name. So when I came up with that, I came up with a swoosh that the name was going to go on, and I refined it over and over. And my whole thought process was like Nike. I wanted a swoosh. You don't have to say Nike. You don't have to say shoes. You see the Nike swoosh and you know what it is, what it means, what it represents. I wanted the swoosh that went along with B&K Painting to be easily identifiable, that it's B&K Painting. When a truck goes driving down the road and all of a sudden you see this big red swoosh, you're like, oh my gosh, that was a B&K Painting van. So and here's one more tip is, try to refine it really fast and try to refine your name and get it nailed in and dialed in fast. Don't be changing it. Don't a year down the road change your name, because then you've lost all that brand identity. You're building brand awareness, and now you just change your brand and nobody recognizes you again. I've seen some painters. I know one painter, I won't say who he was, but he literally changed his name in like 12 years, probably five or six times, but he was running from the IRS, and that's why.
But I think for us, I drive and I look at cars, and so many times I'll see a car and I'll see a business name, and I'm just thinking, what do they do? What do they do? You don't want that. You don't want people to look at your name and say, what do they do?
The thing is, if the car drives by really quickly, you want people to be able to read it, and you want it to be simple. I see some super rad, trucks out there painting graphics and stuff. People getting these full wraps, and they're really good if you're sitting at a stoplight and you're next to it and you get time to read it. But that's typically not how it's done. You want it to be simple, and you want two things to be on it, and one of them is free estimates, and one of them is your phone number or how to get a hold of you. So those two things, extremely important.
Yeah.
Very bold and readable.
So Josh Hagen's with us.
Hey, what's up, Josh Hagen?
It's I've missed. You see names and you're just like, it's like when you get back together with people. What's it called?
It sounds like
A reunion.
we must be the doggy's mommy now.
Yeah. Poor Brucey. So we have these. What is this again that we're gonna give
haven't
away?
given that out. That's a drill.
No.
So that's a cordless drill. So we're going to be giving that away. So Fan takes cordless drill. It's actually a pretty cool cordless drill.
So Brian Bowerman says, buying a house this year, Chris, you're a great mentor. Thank you. And your Paint Life Mafia, your videos give good fellows like me guidance and reassurance. Never stop being, with much love to you and the family. So Brian, thank you for sharing. And guess what? We're going to send you this for your new house.
If anybody's got any stickers
Brian,
out there,
so let's tell him how he can get that.
look at all these stickers I got.
I know.
You
but
ever see my sticker collection?
Yes, I have. But can you
Have
tell
you seen
Brian
it?
how he can get his drill?
So Brian, you can get your drill. Go to our store, paintlifesupply.com.
Bowerman.
Go down to the right-hand corner, the RMAs. That's how you chat with us to get your questions about our store answered. People use it for all kinds of other things. But go there, tell us what you want, give us your address where we can ship it to you, and your email, and if we got any other questions, we'll ask you there. But
This person says, we bought a house that was wallpapered. I have experience in this. And the previous owner painted several layers of paint over the paper. I've removed that before. How can we hide the lines when we repaint, or is it better to remove the paint?
well, you're not going to hide the lines unless you re-skim it. So you got a couple options. Basically, by painting the wallpaper, they've waterproofed it, so your steamer is not going to be effective until you rip off. What's interesting is the paint kind of makes it easier to rip off the top sheet of the wallpaper, and it leaves the paper backing behind. So you'll be able to rip it off in big old huge sheets, and
It's just messy.
yeah.
It's a messy
And
job.
it is messy job, but it also, if it's got paint on it and it's sealed, you can take and re-skim coat it. It's more work, but you re-skim coat it, sand it, skim it again, then texture it, and then you'll have a new wall. When you do skim coat it, you're probably gonna get some bubbles here and there. You have to cut those bubbles out and fill those bubbles in. But yeah, it's never. I mean, once somebody's painted it, it's difficult to make it right. But I
Yeah,
would
at some
personally
point you-
rip it off and take off that whole face, the paper face, and get that backing off and patch the walls.
Rent a
and-
good old steamer.
Good old steamer.
Good old steamer.
We use a Werner steamer. It's just wallpaper is just labor intensive. It's not difficult work. And when I was doing wallpaper removal, we were doing a lot of it for a while. We just charged $50 an hour flat fee, and it's just time and materials. And there is no materials. It's just we own the steamers. I had multiple of them. I still have one, and we just charged $50 an hour. And I always give the customers an estimate of how much time it's going to take, and I'm up front and forward with them. And actually, I'm going to do a video on how to bid wallpaper removal. But I tell the customers, I'll give an estimate. I'll say it's going to be about 8 or 10 hours to remove this paper. But if it takes longer, I have to tell them it's going to cost you more, $50 an hour. And I'm usually pretty dang close. But one time I gave an estimate, and because you never know, the people glued on the paper with Elmer's glue and not wallpaper paste. And so it literally took like probably 4 to 5 times longer to remove it. So that's where there's some unknowns, and you will really get yourself in a world of hurt and cost yourself a lot of money, if you don't disclose that. But on the flip side, I would tell them, if it takes me longer, I will have to charge you, and I'll be able to let you know fairly soon into the job. But if it takes me less time, I always charge them less.
So 2 things. One, somebody asked if we're going to be at AWFS, and so that is a yes. We are going to be in the Paint Lines booth on Wednesday and Thursday from 1 to 5 p.m. and we're going to be in Unita's booth from 9 to noon. So come by and see us at AWFS. If you want free tickets to get in, the Paint Line is offering free tickets, and we put the link on our Instagram, and they have it on theirs. But secondly,
Well, we can hook you up with free tickets. So make sure you come, and make sure you stop by Unita's booth, because I'm a big believer in their sanders, and I'm going to be giving some demonstrations, and I think I'm going to be doing
giveaways.
2 talks. I think I'm scheduled to do 2 like seminar style things while I'm there. So come check us out there.
So 2 things I wanted to go over. You were in the store today, and a guy was talking about the hose, and you were saying how long they last, and they don't last forever. And I was saying a good topic is to talk about hoses. Do they last forever? And I just read on the feed, somebody said they bought a hose whip from us and that it's not working. And so, where is that?
Well, definitely
He emailed and it
yeah.
says it doesn't work, so I'm not sure. What's our email? support@idahopainter.com. Email me and let us know. But hose whips, do they last forever? What issues do you not have?
Hoses and hose whips don't last forever. So
Okay.
we would typically, on our airless sprayers, about every 4 years, we would replace the hoses on our airless sprayers. Now, airless hoses, there's kind of like 2 types. There's wire braided hoses, and there's cloth braided hoses. In the wire braided hoses kink really easy, and the guys don't roll them up properly, and you get a kink in the hose. That's a weak spot in the hose, and it's going to continue to stay flexible in where that kink spot is, and that kink is eventually going to burst. And so that's one of the really bad things about getting kinks in wire braided hoses, is it becomes a weak point and fatigues fairly fast over time. And the last thing you want to do is have the hose blow up on the job, because that's happened to me multiple times, and it's bad. So like every 4 to 5 years, we'd replace our hoses because of fatigued spots in hoses, kinks in the hoses, but also because paint builds up inside the hoses no matter how much you clean them and a lot of times we're just not very thorough with our cleaning. And if you start to cross contaminate your hoses from like water-based products to solvent-based products, it'll start to harden what's on the outside edges of the hose or the inside edge of the hose. It'll start to break it free, release, and you start having all kinds of prime valve clogging issues and stuff like that. So we were just accustomed to changing them, just one for liability because they didn't want a hose bursting, like every 4 years or so, or way sooner if somebody kinks a hose and it gets a spot in it that looks really weak and it's a wire braided hose and it can bend in that spot where that kink is really easy. So
what about your green hoses? Why would a hose whip not work?
So a hose whip is actually, it's at the end of the gun and you're actually moving it around and flexing it and bending it continually, and especially right at the gun. And so a hose whip is going to get fatigue to the hose and it's going to wear out typically sooner than a regular hose. Now you get hose whips like Titan makes a hose whip with wire banding on both ends, and so then the hose is less likely to fatigue at the connecting point, but then it makes the hose way stiffer. I'd rather replace my whips more often and have them more flexible and not have tendonitis and everything that goes along with fatigue. And so that's why we designed our hose whips to not have wire banding on them so they'd be more flexible.
But you have the ones that have the wire.
So we have, and there's a difference. So wire braided hoses can be used with solvent-based coatings because they could be grounded. And so that's, and we have our Exit Flex whips are wire braided whips, and then our other lime green hose whips are cloth braided whips. And most hoses nowadays, like all the Titan hoses that I've seen recently, they're all cloth braided hoses. You don't see wire braided hoses as much anymore.
So this guy said, I tried the track interfed roller and it fed mostly on one side. Any suggestions?
So that's one of the differences that why I like the interfeed roller versus the Graco pressure roller is the Graco pressure roller feeds most of the paint towards the inside where it comes in, and it doesn't make it to the end. So you always have to go from the side that it's feeding up. You have to work your way down the wall in that direction. From my experience with Titan interfeed rollers and the size of the hole on the inner portion of it, they step down in size. So they start up larger and step down smaller. And so it helps it feed, or actually the opposite direction. It helps it feed more evenly across the roller. So they're not going to feed perfectly down the entire roller.
Yeah, he said Greco.
Yeah, Graco. I liked using their roller if I didn't have any other option, but the Titan interfeed roller feeds way more evenly across the roller, so you can roll in either direction. Graco, you have to roll, the opposite direction that it's feeding, so you're going down the line, so it works the paint down the roller as you're rolling and keeps the end of the roller wet. And so that's my big complaint about the Graco pressure roller. Titans is called an interfeed roller.
So Al says, I paint all rental units for a real estate company, and your videos have helped me out on a few problems I had. Please keep up your videos. Love them. Thank you.
Cool. Appreciate it. So definitely appreciate the support and the thanks. Definitely all the encouragement stuff definitely helps us keep making the videos. In the thumbs up, we appreciate it when people give us thumbs ups on our videos and stuff. So we've been shooting quite a bit of videos. We've got typically posting like 2 a week. I got that whole bag of braces that we're gonna give away.
Do you want to go grab it?
I can go grab one.
Okay, you can go grab it. And I'll just read a few things. But one thing I really do want you guys to know, that this is an opportunity to network, to share, to encourage, and we're going to be there just like everybody else, learning from each other and encouraging each other and supporting each other. And so if you want to go, make sure and go to our store, paintlifesupply.com, and go in the chat button. And if you want to go, we're going to give away one free admission, which is worth like $5.95. And so let us know why you want to go so we can give that away. And then if there are more people that are interested, we're going to look into getting some discount codes to make it a little bit more affordable. But it's in San Antonio, Texas. I know there's a lot of Texans out there that paint. We've met a few that have even come to our things at our house. You want people to see Bruce?
We'll let Bruce in.
Yeah, people need to see Bruce to understand why we have a little bit of fear and trembling. Yeah. So can you see Bruce?
So Bruce, come here, Bruce.
See, that's
come here, Bruce. Bruce.
See, his face is bigger than our face. He's a big guy.
Let's see Bruce.
This is making his YouTube debut.
There's Bruce.
He's not crying anymore. He's looking at the.
He's looking at the abrasives. We'll give you a look at Bruce. Here's Bruce. Hey, Bruce. Say hi to everybody, Bruce.
Oh, he's gonna go look for his mommy.
He wants his mom. So
that's our doggy daycare for the day.
I want to show you. Here's the Titan interfeed roller. So you can see how the holes right here. So they gradually get larger. So it's allowing the paint to easily work to the end, a larger hole. But then the last one steps down smaller. So I just think that they've kind of dialed in, their holes, the engineering of the holes to make it spread paint more evenly. So I had this whole bag of abrasives. So like I said, people just send me random stuff like all the time. So the Diablo, which I didn't know Diablo even makes abrasives. They've sent me a bazillion. I thought they made just like saw blades and stuff. So there's all these abrasives, and we're gonna give them away to somebody that needs some abrasives. There's like disc abrasives. There's sponge abrasives, and what we need you to do is whoever gets them, I need you to tell me what you think about them.
Are you gonna? So is it all gonna go to one person?
I mean, we could divide it up to 2 people because there's tons. There's so many different abrasives in here. Rounded.
Do you recommend stop peel for chalky exteriors?
Peel stop?
Yeah.
So
what do you recommend for chalky surfaces?
So. Peel stop or peel bonds, XIM peel bonds, is not going to stick to a chalky surface. One of the great things about that primer is it's a super high resin primer, extremely thick, but it's not going to bond to a chalky surface until you clean the chalky surface. But there's one thing that actually works really amazing, adding to your paint, that if you can't get all the chalkiness off, and look, man, you can't, let's be realistic. I mean, you can't sit there and hand scrub the entire house. Like I was working on a commercial building I just shot here recently, painted. And it had a lot of chalkiness to it, and it's really high. And you power wash it the best you can with a rotating nozzle. It's gonna agitate, get a lot of the chalkiness off. But realistically, I mean, I would have to charge them 5 times more to paint the place. If I had to sit there and scrub it with a scrub brush, the entire thing. And some of you just can't even reach.
What worked?
Emulsivon. Emulsivon is absolutely amazing, and it's designed as an additive to add to paint to make your paint stick to a chalky surface. And believe me, it sticks. When you get it on you, it sticks to you too. So and it's weird because you add a gallon to a 5-gallon bucket of paint, and it really, really works really well.
So somebody wanted to know if the Diablo disc stuff fits on a Festool sander.
So there's all different, like these go on those hand sander things. So there's all different things. This isn't made for, these are made, so this is made for those block things, those like you put on your blocks. These are just sponges right here. These are just sheet abrasives right here. These go on like a hook and loop 5-inch sander right here. So it's weird. They got a lot of.
We're gonna give away 2 packs of them. Like break it up into half and half.
These are woven pads right here. So I don't know if they just got into the abrasive industry and just sent me all this stuff. This is for reusable sanding block right here. I think that's the block itself and the abrasives that go with it. But I've used Diablo blades, saw blades for my skill saws, and they're pretty killer.
So I have 2 people that are gonna win.
Bam,
these,
just like that.
And so I'm gonna read both of them, and then I want you to answer. Mark Mays Painting LLC could use some abrasives. So Mark Mays will send you some abrasives. How does he get a hold of us?
Go to paintlifesupply.com. Down in the right-hand corner, go to the little chat icon. That's how you chat with us, the staff. Let us know what you want. Give us your address and your email address, and we're going to ship it to you.
So the second winner is Limestone Boxing 91. So
Limestone Boxing.
maybe they're boxers like her daughter.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
So Afton Boxes.
She's looking for a fight.
We support a Paint Life sponsored athlete is Noah Schultz. He's an MMA fighter. Shout out to Noah. Can't wait to see him fight again. And he's known as the Constrictor. Get it? Noah Constrictor.
So Limestone Boxing 91 is going to get the second part of abrasives, and he says, is about to start my own painting company, super nervous and excited. Any words of advice? So you're going to get some abrasives that will help you start, but any words of advice when you're first starting out your company? Well, proud of you for being brave to start your own company.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it. My advice is don't quit. It will be hard. But don't quit, because if you don't quit, you're going to be successful.
Yeah, one of the things about starting your own business is don't start your own business thinking you're going to work less, because you actually work more. But it's the satisfaction of owning your own business and making and setting your own hours. But yeah, I think you touched on it. Don't quit. It's well worth the rewards that comes with it as you build your business. And some things are just simple. Like, I never tried to make things complicated when I started my business. I started out by just doing door hangers, getting business. I'm telling you, it's like, even in today's world, door hangers are one of the most effective ways to get jobs. The guy was in our store today, and I was talking to him. He didn't have as much work, and I said, "Have you thought about door hangers?" And he's like, "No." And I explained to him the value of door hangers, and there's a painter I know in Minnesota, and he's one of the biggest painters there, and when I asked him, what was the most effective marketing that they do when it comes to marketing. They're really big into marketing. And I thought he was going to give me some like elaborate thing, because he's like really smart. He's a graduate with an accounting degree, and I thought he was going to tell me something so sophisticated that was just going to be over my head, And he said, surprisingly, the number one way they get jobs is by door hangers. And they kind of narrowed it down and dialed it in, where they would do door hangers to certain subdivisions, and each door hanger would have a different phone number that would call in. So they gathered information. They knew where that door hanger was coming from, that the call came in, and so they knew what areas were working, what areas weren't working, and which ones to continue to target.
I think, like with you, when we painted a house, you would do 5 on each side, and across the street do 10, and then having a sign.
No, do not ever start painting a house without putting a yard sign. I don't care how poor you are. Go get a yard sign. The minute you go out and you prep that thing, so power wash it, you put the yard sign in. And before you leave that house, when you're done, 5 houses to the left, 5 houses to the right, 10 houses across the street, you leave a door hanger on their door. And it's like, I've been painting in your neighborhood. We would love to give you a free estimate. And the value, the effectiveness, legend has it that I put a door hanger on somebody's door.
It was 8 years.
And 8 years
It was 8
later,
years.
the customer
We painted.
had the door hanger on his desk after 8 years, called me up, asked if the discount on the door hanger was still valid, and I was absolutely shocked, and I said yes, it was. And because I couldn't believe obviously my prices went up significantly, but I was like, yes, I'll honor it. And he showed me the door hanger when we came. And so you never know.
People get those and put them in their junk drawer, and they're like, oh, this year we'll paint. Oh, next year.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you never know.
So who did the door hangers? This is where Sometimes
I did, you did, our kids did. Yeah.
We would spend the weekend. They put on their inline skates and and we skated around the neighborhoods and hanging door hangers. And sometimes, that was not the easiest thing to do because being a little bit shy and walking up to people's doors is a little bit scary, but that's what's gonna get you jobs.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. So Dirk Jason, he is the one who has the hose whip problem. So, like I said, make sure, thank you for the super chat, make sure and message us so that we can find out what the issue is, because the hose whip should work.
So your hose whips have to connect to the proper hose to begin with. And so I was doing some experimenting, and you can't have a hose whip connected to a hose whip because the orifice size of the two whips is not a large enough to allow the proper pressure. You're going to start to get pressure fluctuations and you're going to get spitting. So we actually sell a 25-foot whip hose. You can't hook a whip to that whip hose or you're going to have pressure related issues and you're going to have a lot of spitting. So there's a lot of things that can cause issues. Whip hoses by nature, they make them softer. Inside the inside diameter is smaller. So I'll tell you what, I never strained a paint for probably the first 13 years of my painting career, 13 to 15. Now you can't get away with straining your paints, not straining them ever if you're running them through an airless or an HVLP sprayer. The paints these days from all manufacturers is dirtier than heck, and that's going to cause issues with your whips, especially our exit flex whips that were a really small inside diameter. If you don't strain your paints, you're going to pick something up and you're going to clog that whip up. So you've got to, it's unfortunate, it's the way it is. Even the highest end paints I've been doing a lot of testing and reviews of paints recently that you'll see coming up, and even the most expensive lifetime warranty coatings, I've been straining them and they're pretty dirty.
Yeah. So, but how about cleaning them? Because if you don't clean them, can they get clogged?
Yeah. If you don't clean your hoses, and for one thing, if you don't clean your sprayer, this is where the intake tube that comes down, the U part of the intake tube, it's like a trap, like a trap in your sink in your house. Mm-hmm. Things settle down in there, and just time after time, you'll get dirty, milky water. It'll settle. The paint residue settles. It sticks to the trap portion of it. Next time you paint, another layer sticks. Eventually, that breaks free. It goes up into your sprayer in chunks and pieces, clogs the ball. Eventually you can work down, into your hose, and your whip is a smaller diameter than your 1/4 inch hose. So you can just cause all kinds of problems if you're not cleaning. So here's a tip. Every day, at the end of the day, when you're done spraying, clean your sprayer thoroughly. Some sprayers you have to remove the manifold filter, i.e. Titan impact sprayers. You have to remove the manifold filter, but run auto antifreeze through it, like about 50-50 solution, and that's going to save you all kinds of problems.
Okay.
Auto antifreeze, it's simple. Stops corrosion, stops rust, keeps paint suspended. So there you go.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think Bruce's mom's here, so we're probably going to have to go.
I don't think it's his mom. That's somebody knocking at the door.
Oh, well, I think we're excited to be back, and hopefully we'll start doing more YouTube lives. But if you are in the Las Vegas...
We got to give away a Paint Life Supply Co. gift certificate.
Okay, we'll do one more gift certificate to Paint Life Supply Co. And just wanted to let you guys know, if you are in the Vegas area, if you want to go to AWFS, we will be there next Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be in the paint line booth in the afternoon, and in the morning we'll be in the Unita booth. And then if you cannot make it to Vegas, we're going to be in San Antonio, Texas, and we're going to be there for... Oh, see, his mom is here.
Mommy's here.
Did you hear that? That is a happy Bruce. So
that's a happy Bruce.
Let's do one giveaway, and then we got to get going.
Okay, we'll do a Paint Life Supply Co giveaway.
A Paint Life Supply Co giveaway.
All right, so you're gonna give away a gift certificate?
I'm gonna do a gift certificate.
All right. There's been a lot of people chatting. There's been a lot of people on today. We do appreciate the support. We haven't been on live in a long time because we're just so dang busy. We appreciate Ron's been on. Ron's one of our moderators.
Alan's been on.
Alan's been on.
Edward F. Jones has been on. Another moderator.
So on Paint Life, we want to give these guys a big shout out and follow them on Instagram. And they are our moderators on Paint Life members. So that's our Facebook page that was created by us, and that's where you can go get your questions, whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or a professional painter, answered in a respectful manner. And nobody's going to tease you, bully you, or be disrespectful. And it's because of our amazing moderators and Pro Tall Painting. They're on Instagram. They're the starter of the traveling trousers. That's where they originated from. So Pro Tall Painting, XC Painter. He's been around as an amazing painter, and he's been answering questions on all kinds of forums for a long time. Does a great job. We appreciate him. He's on Instagram too, and some other platforms. I know he's on Instagram and YouTube and stuff. Ron Thrall Ron's got an Instagram himself and Facebook and I think YouTube. Follow Ron Thrall and then Alan Rahesky. And Alan Rahesky is, those are the 4 guys. Go follow them. They got good information. They're great painters. They're just really cool dudes, man. So we appreciate their help and want to give them a big shout out. So, and I'm sure if you jumped on their social media and you had a question for them, they're gonna help you out and give you good information. So
we want to give away a $25 gift card to one person, and this is let me see, Bebo Gaming. You get a $25 gift card. He said, "How to keep and store your brushes? I've been painting for over 20 years. I feel like the brush covers Purdy do not last long at all."
So so the paper brush covers that come with your brushes, if you clean your brushes and you put them in the covers before they're dry, they don't last. They don't last long. I always hang mine to dry and let them dry, and then when they're dry, I put them in the brush covers, which doesn't keep their form and shape as well because they kind of dry and flay open a little bit, but then it makes the covers last longer. There's not a lot of options out there. I know Pretty Boy sells shield covers, and he purchased a company that manufactured. They're very limited. They only have a few sizes, and they only have flat sash ones. I like to be able to see a brush hanging in the cover and understand whether it's a flat sash or an angled sash and understand what size it is by looking at it and not having to open it up. But he does have a few limited sizes. But it's kind of a bummer because it'd be nice if you can just buy the paper covers. But other than that, I don't know if there was the one that was sold at Home Depot and stuff. It kind of flopped and it was on Shark Tank and stuff, and it's kind of a big, bulky, corny looking thing. And the thing is, nowadays the brushes don't last as long, and some of them don't last as long as the covers, so it doesn't become an issue. But what I would suggest is, as it begins to tear, duct tape it. Get Sure tape, T-Rex tape, and put some T-Rex tape on it, and that thing ain't never gonna come apart.
So Bebo Gaming, how does he get his $25 gift card?
Go to paintlifesupply.com, go down to the right-hand corner, get on the chat icon. That's how you chat with us and get information and help. And let us know what you want and what your address is, and we will hook you up. And McKenna will get you sent out your prizes or your gift cards. So there's a lot of people. Edward Jones is there. I see Eric Gutierrez. Hey, Eric, from Texas. Eric from Texas is hanging out with us.
So
we're going to Texas.
We're going to go to Texas. So make sure if you want information, we'll have it.
But the biggest thing coming up is next week. If you're in Las Vegas, come hang out with us. Come, just say hi. Get us let us get a picture with you so we can post it on our Instagram.
And we're going to be giving away hats.
And we're going to be giving away hats and
some
stickers and some swag. And you have no excuse not to show up to the show because we will get you in for free. And believe me, walking around that show is worth every penny that you won't even have to pay. And so it's going to be cool. And Vegas is going to be cool. We're going to go out, eat some dinner.
Yeah, it's been quite a year. We're excited to be back doing live.
If you want to meet two other people are going to be hanging out with us on Thursday.
McKenna and Afton.
So the people behind packaging your packages, putting all the love behind your packaging and ordering your products is our daughters. So McKenna and Afton
will be at the show on Thursday.
We'll be at the show on Thursday. So you got to come see them on Thursday. They would love to see and meet you guys and see what's going on. So
thank you for being with us. You guys have a great night.
Have a great, I guess it is nighttime, huh? So actually I don't use the mouse to close it out. I'm gonna close it out right over here. We've had a lot of people, a lot of comments. Appreciate you guys. Once again, we only exist because you guys spend your valuable time watching us, commenting, giving us likes and stuff, and then encouraging us to keep doing this. We appreciate it very much. We appreciate our monitors and all the staff that helps us. So we'll see you next time we show up live on Pay Live TV. Out.